1. Force Lightning. When you think of pure dark side power, the kind that screams domination and destruction, nothing represents it better than Force Lightning. This ability, made iconic by Emperor Palpatine, allows a Sith Lord to unleash blinding bolts of dark energy from their fingertips. The crackling blue electricity doesn't just shock, it tortures, burns, and completely overwhelms its victims. In Return of the Jedi, Palpatine used this devastating technique to nearly kill Luke Skywalker, demonstrating the sheer brutality behind it. What makes Force Lightning truly terrifying isn't just its physical power, it's what it represents. The user must fully give in to rage, hate, and the dark side to channel it. Every spark is fueled by negative emotion, meaning the more you suffer or hate, the stronger it becomes. Even Jedi Masters like Yoda and Mace Windu struggled to deflect or absorb it without being thrown back by the raw energy. There are also variants. Count Dooku used a controlled version called Force Shock, while Palpatine could summon planet-scale storms called Force Tempests. At its peak, this power can destroy entire fleets and tear through hyperspace itself. Force Lightning isn't just an attack, it's a symbol of ultimate Sith corruption, proof that power without restraint always comes with a cost. 2. Force Choke. The Force Choke is one of the simplest yet most chilling abilities in Star Wars history. Made famous by Darth Vader, it showcases his terrifying mastery over telekinesis and his complete lack of empathy. With just a gesture, a slight clench of his black-gloved hand, Vader can crush a man's throat without ever touching him. It's silent, efficient, and deeply personal. The victim can see their killer, feel the pressure closing in, and know there's absolutely no escape. What makes this ability so iconic is its psychological impact. Vader didn't use it just to kill, he used it to command obedience through fear. Officers aboard the Death Star didn't just respect him, they feared breathing wrong around him, but the ability isn't exclusive to Vader. Other Force users like Kylo Ren and Darth Sidious have used variations, manipulating internal organs, crushing bones, or even suspending multiple enemies at once. Force Choke is the perfect example of how the Force can reflect personality. For Vader, it represents control and suppression, just like how Anakin Skywalker tried to control everything in his life and lost it all. Simple, yet devastatingly effective, Force Choke remains one of the most haunting uses of the Force in galactic history. 3. Force Heal. On the opposite end of the spectrum lies Force Heal, a rare and powerful light side ability that can literally restore life. This technique allows a Force user to channel their own life energy into another being, rapidly healing wounds, curing diseases, and even reviving the recently dead. We saw Rey use this in The Rise of Skywalker, transferring her energy to save Kylo Ren and later a massive serpent creature, proving how far compassion can go when wielded through the Force. Unlike destructive powers, Force Heal is built on empathy. It requires balance, peace, and genuine care for life. In the ancient days of the Jedi Order, healers were a specialized group who used this gift on battlefields to save lives instead of taking them. But this ability comes at a price. Every act of healing drains the user's own vitality. Too much, and it can kill them. This power perfectly captures the essence of the light side: selflessness, sacrifice, and hope. While the Sith use the Force to dominate, Jedi use it to preserve. In the end, Force Heal reminds us that real strength isn't about destruction. It's about giving, protecting, and bringing life back where death once ruled. 4. Force Storm. Lightning Storm. Force Storm, also known as Force Lightning Storm, is not just a weapon, it's a cataclysm. This ability, wielded by Emperor Palpatine in the Legends continuity, is perhaps the most destructive display of dark side power ever recorded. Unlike regular Force Lightning, which targets individuals, Force Storm can tear through entire starships, annihilate fleets, and even rip apart planets. At its full potential, it can create space-time rifts capable of teleporting ships across hyperspace or completely disintegrating them. Palpatine demonstrated this terrifying power after death, channeling it through his spirit while attempting to dominate the galaxy once again. The storm could be summoned from the void of space, spiraling into massive electrical tempests that engulfed everything in their path. It was a manifestation of pure dark side rage, uncontrollable, chaotic, and apocalyptic. But there's a hidden meaning behind it. The Force Storm shows that even the greatest Sith can lose control of their own power. Palpatine's own storm nearly consumed him, proving that absolute power doesn't equal mastery. Sometimes, it's the beginning of self-destruction. Force Storm isn't just overpowered. It's the ultimate symbol of the dark side's endless hunger for domination, and the destruction that comes with it. 5. Mind Trick, or Seo Mind Control. One of the most famous and deceptively dangerous Force abilities is the Jedi Mind Trick, the power to influence and control thoughts. A calm wave of the hand, a few quiet words, and suddenly the weak-minded obey without question. Obi-Wan Kenobi demonstrated this perfectly in A New Hope, telling stormtroopers, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." It's subtle, elegant, and non-lethal, but make no mistake, it's an incredibly overpowered ability when mastered. More advanced versions can go far beyond simple suggestions. Sith lords like Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious could dominate entire minds, rewrite memories, or plant false realities. Jedi Masters, meanwhile, used it for peacekeeping or negotiation, though some viewed it as morally gray since it manipulates free will. Mind Trick shows just how thin the line is between light and dark. Used with restraint, it prevents conflict. Used with greed, it becomes a weapon of psychological enslavement. In the wrong hands, it could control armies, governments, or even galactic leaders. It's the quiet power. No explosions, no lightning, no violence. Just complete control over the human mind. 6. Force Crush. If Force Choke is terrifying, Force Crush is its ultimate, monstrous evolution. This ability weaponizes telekinesis to horrifying extremes, allowing a Force user to compress and destroy anything, from bones and droids to entire vehicles, using raw mental power. Darth Vader, Starkiller, and even Mace Windu have demonstrated variations of it, but none wielded it as brutally as Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger. Nihilus could use Force Crush to collapse entire squads at once, crumpling their bodies like paper. The pain inflicted is unimaginable, every bone, organ, and cell squeezed under invisible pressure. But what makes it so frightening isn't just the power, it's the precision. The user can decide exactly how much to crush, breaking limbs, collapsing lungs, or completely obliterating a target in seconds. This move represents the pinnacle of dark side telekinesis, absolute domination through destruction. It requires intense focus, rage, and connection to the dark side. Few can control it without being consumed by their own fury. Force Crush is more than violence. It's the dark side's message made physical. The power to destroy life itself, effortlessly and without mercy. 7. Battle Meditation. Battle Meditation is one of the most fascinating and strategic Force powers ever created. Unlike destructive abilities, this one turns a single user into a living supercomputer on the battlefield. It allows the Force wielder to influence the emotions, focus, and coordination of thousands, even millions, of allies and enemies simultaneously. With Battle Meditation, a user can make their army fight with flawless precision while plunging their enemies into fear, confusion, and despair. Jedi Masters, like Bastila Shan and Nomi Sunrider, were known to use this ability during the Old Republic era. Their presence alone could decide the outcome of an entire galactic war. While it may not cause direct physical destruction like Force Lightning or Crush, the psychological and tactical impact is unmatched. Imagine commanding fleets across light years, controlling morale, and shifting the tide of war with your thoughts alone. However, this ability demands immense concentration and inner peace. Any emotional imbalance or mental distraction could break the connection instantly. In the wrong hands, like those of a Sith, it becomes even more terrifying. A dark side user could spread chaos, manipulate fear, or completely collapse enemy morale. Battle Meditation proves that the most powerful weapons in Star Wars aren't always physical. Sometimes, they're the mind itself. 8. Force Drain. If Battle Meditation represents harmony, then Force Drain represents hunger, a hunger that can consume entire worlds. This dark side ability allows the user to drain the life energy or Force essence from other living beings to strengthen themselves. In extreme cases, it can kill hundreds at once, leaving nothing but lifeless husks behind. The most infamous master of this ability was Darth Nihilus, known as the Lord of Hunger. His connection to the Force became so twisted that he could consume entire planets, absorbing the life of every living being on the surface. To him, living things weren't people, they were fuel. Force Drain is considered one of the darkest abilities because it turns the Force, something meant to balance life, into a tool of annihilation. It embodies pure greed, the desire to take endlessly and never give back. Even among the Sith, few could control it without losing their identity to the hunger it created. Some legends say that using Force Drain too much can hollow out your soul, leaving you as nothing more than a walking void. It's not just overpowered, it's terrifying, because it feeds on everything that makes life possible. 9. Force Speed. While some Force abilities destroy and others manipulate, Force Speed is all about transcendence, surpassing physical limits in the blink of an eye. This power grants the user superhuman agility, speed, and reflexes far beyond what's naturally possible. With Force Speed, a Jedi can dodge blaster fire, run faster than the eye can track, and even fight with movements that seem almost invisible. We see this ability briefly in The Phantom Menace, when Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn use it to escape droideka fire. But in the broader Star Wars lore, it's far more intense. Some Force users can move so quickly that they appear as blurs, attack dozens of times in a second, or cross vast distances instantly. Force Speed isn't just about running fast, it enhances everything: combat timing, reaction speed, and perception. It's how Jedi deflect blasters and anticipate attacks before they even happen. Combined with abilities like precognition, Force Speed turns the user into an unstoppable blur of precision and grace. In a universe where every second counts, Force Speed transforms the battlefield. It's not flashy like lightning, but in the right hands it's the difference between life and death. Proof that sometimes true power lies in being faster than fate itself. 10. Force Cloak. Force Stealth. Among all the Force abilities, Force Cloak, also called Force Stealth or Force Concealment, is one of the most mysterious. While most Force powers overwhelm or destroy, this one hides. It allows a Force user to completely vanish, not just visually, but spiritually, disappearing from both sight and even other Force users' senses. That means even the strongest Jedi or Sith can't detect them. Masters like Darth Traya and Obi-Wan Kenobi have demonstrated versions of this skill, using it for infiltration and survival. In the Old Republic era, Force assassins use Cloak to silently eliminate targets or evade entire armies. It's not about speed or strength, it's about precision and patience. Imagine standing face to face with your enemy while they stare right through you, unable to sense your existence. The true danger of Force Cloak is its potential. Combined with other powers, like Mind Trick or Force Crush, it turns a user into a silent god of assassination. Jedi use it sparingly, but Sith see it as a perfect weapon. In a galaxy filled with sensors, droids, and Force visions, the ability to become nothing might be the most powerful weapon of all. 11. Force Vision / Precognition. Force Vision, or Precognition, is the power to glimpse the future, to sense danger, foresee events, or even witness possible destinies before they unfold. Jedi rely heavily on this instinctive ability, using it in combat to anticipate attacks before they happen. That's how they can deflect blaster bolts or move just moments before danger strikes. But Force Vision goes deeper. Yoda, Anakin, and Luke all experienced visions of the future, moments that shape their destinies. The problem? The future is always in motion. What you see might happen, or it might be a warning. Anakin's visions of Padmé's death drove him straight into the arms of the dark side, proving that knowing the future doesn't always mean you can control it. Some ancient Force users could even project their consciousness across time, glimpsing distant eras or alternate realities, but such knowledge always comes with a cost: doubt, obsession, or madness. Force Vision proves one haunting truth about the Force: even those who can see the future can still be destroyed by it. 12. Force Projection. Perhaps one of the most misunderstood powers in Star Wars, Force Projection allows a user to create an incredibly realistic illusion of themselves across galaxies, solid, visible, and even interactive. Luke Skywalker famously used this power in The Last Jedi, confronting Kylo Ren on Crate without ever leaving Ahch-To. His projection was so convincing that it fooled an entire army, but the cost was immense. Luke used the last of his life energy to sustain the illusion, dying peacefully once his mission was complete. The skill requires perfect control, immense concentration, and total mastery of the Force. The user must divide their consciousness while maintaining full awareness. One mistake, and the illusion collapses. Historically, very few Force users ever reached this level of mastery. It blurs the line between the physical and the spiritual, between presence and memory. Force projection isn't about fighting. It's about legacy. Luke used it to save the next generation, to prove that even in death, hope and courage can still shine brighter than the darkness. 13. Force Absorb. Chaktiart Arts. Tutaminis. Force Absorb, also known as Tutaminis, is the ultimate defensive ability. It allows a Force user to absorb, contain, and redirect energy from blaster bolts, explosions, or even Force lightning itself. Jedi Masters like Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi have used it in battle, catching deadly energy in their palms or redirecting it harmlessly away. What makes this power so overpowered is its versatility. A master of Tutaminis can turn an enemy's greatest weapon into their weakness. When Count Dooku unleashed his lightning, Yoda simply absorbed it. Calm, centered, unshaken. It's a perfect symbol of the light side. Serenity overpowering rage. However, the skill demands absolute control and mental clarity. One slip in concentration, and the stored energy can backfire, causing catastrophic damage. Some Sith attempted to use it, but their anger made it unstable. Tutaminis isn't about brute strength. It's about harmony with the Force itself. It's the ultimate example that true mastery isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about turning darkness into light. 14. Force Sever/Force Rend. Force Sever, sometimes called Force Rend, is one of the rarest and most dangerous abilities ever recorded. It doesn't kill. Audit erases. This technique allows the user to completely cut another being off from the Force, severing their connection forever. The victim survives, but loses every sense of power, awareness, and balance they once had. Jedi Masters like Nomi Sunrider and Luke Skywalker have used it against Dark Force users when killing wasn't an option. But the act itself is agonizing. Imagine having the very essence of your soul ripped away. Some victims lose their sanity. Others become hollow shells of who they were. Unlike most dark side powers, Force Sever is considered a light side ability, used to preserve peace without death. Yet even Jedi feared it, knowing that taking away someone's connection to the Force could be worse than killing them. It's the ultimate punishment, and the ultimate mercy, rolled into one. 15. Essence Transfer. Immortality. At the peak of the dark side's madness lies essence transfer, the Sith's forbidden key to immortality. This terrifying technique allows a Force user to move their consciousness into another body, effectively achieving eternal life. Emperor Palpatine perfected it, surviving death in Return of the Jedi by transferring his spirit into a clone. The process, however, is unstable. The new body begins to decay as the dark energy consumes it, forcing the user to find fresh hosts. Darth Bane, Plagueis, and Sidious all sought to perfect this art, to become gods. But immortality through essence transfer is a curse. The more times the spirit moves, the more corrupted it becomes. It's the ultimate dark temptation, the refusal to die, no matter the cost. In contrast, the Jedi teach that life and death are natural parts of the Force. Sith reject that truth, clinging to power until it destroys them. Essence. Transfer may grant eternity, but it traps the user in an endless prison of their own making. 16. Force Maelstrom. If you thought Force Lightning was powerful, Force Maelstrom takes that chaos to an entirely new level. It's an advanced combined form of telekinesis, Force Lightning, and protection, creating a swirling storm of pure destruction around the user. Imagine a raging tornado made of energy, where lightning arcs outward while debris, enemies, and even blaster bolts are hurled away in every direction. Darth Sidious and Darth Malgus were known to use versions of this devastating technique, though few could ever control it for long. The user becomes the eye of the storm, calm at the center while everything around them is obliterated. It's both offense and defense in one, an ultimate display of Force mastery that can wipe out entire squads in seconds. But Force Maelstrom is incredibly unstable. Without perfect control, it can consume the user as easily as their enemies. Even for the most powerful Sith or Jedi, channeling that much raw energy is dangerous. One mistake could tear their body apart. That's what makes this ability so terrifying. It's not just overpowered, it's untamable. A true Force Maelstrom is a natural disaster wearing the skin of a warrior. 17. Force Ghost. The Force Ghost technique isn't destructive, but it's one of the most profound and mysterious abilities in the galaxy. It allows a Jedi to retain their consciousness after death, becoming one with the Force while still able to appear, speak, and even interact with the living. Masters like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Anakin Skywalker achieved this legendary state, something most Jedi could only dream of. Unlike Sith immortality, which clings to life through corruption, becoming a Force Ghost requires total surrender. The user must release all attachments, ego, and fear of death. Only then can they transcend the physical world and live eternally in harmony with the Force. What makes it so powerful is its purity. A Force Ghost can guide future generations, appear across the galaxy, and influence destiny even after death. The Sith spent centuries trying to replicate it, but failed because their obsession with control blocked the spiritual freedom required. Force Ghosts prove that true immortality doesn't come from domination, it comes from peace. 18. Force Rage. At the opposite end of the spectrum lies Force Rage, the ultimate embodiment of anger. This ability taps into raw emotion, fury, pain, hate, and converts it into a temporary explosion of power. The user's strength, speed, and resilience multiply several times over, allowing them to fight through wounds that would normally be fatal. Darth Maul, Kylo Ren, and even Darth Vader have all drawn on this primal ability in moments of desperation. When activated, Force Rage transforms the user into a storm of aggression, unstoppable until their body gives out. It's pure adrenaline, amplified by the dark side, but it comes with a price. The longer it lasts, the more it burns away sanity and self-control. When the rage ends, exhaustion hits like a crash, often leaving the user weakened or unconscious. Force Rage is terrifying because it reveals how emotion can both empower and destroy. It's not about finesse or strategy, surrendering completely to passion. In the end, it's the dark side's cruelest trick, giving ultimate strength for a moment and taking everything afterward. 19. Force Destruction. Force Destruction is one of the purest and most violent energy attacks in the dark side's arsenal. Unlike Lightning or Crush, it channels all of a user's hatred into a single explosive blast. The power manifests as a glowing orb or wave of energy capable of vaporizing everything in its path. Used by ancient Sith lords like Darth Nihilus and Exar Kun, this ability can level buildings, destroy armies, and disintegrate anything caught in its radius. It's the dark side turned into a weapon of mass destruction. The more rage and hate the user feels, the larger and deadlier the explosion becomes. But it's not a skill to use lightly. Channeling that much energy can tear apart a user's body if they lose focus for even a second. Force Destruction isn't about skill, it's about sheer willpower and fury. It's the Force in its rawest, most chaotic form, proving once again that the dark side's greatest power always comes with the greatest cost. 20. Force Time Manipulation, Flow Walking. Perhaps the rarest and most reality-bending Force ability ever recorded is Flow Walking, the power to step into the currents of time itself. Mastered only by a select few Jedi and Force users like the Aang T monks and Jacen Solo. Flow Walking allows one to experience the past or glimpse into possible futures, not just see them, but walk among them. However, it's not true time travel. The user can observe and even slightly influence events. But changing history is nearly impossible without catastrophic consequences. Still, this ability grants knowledge no one else can have, the wisdom of hindsight before it happens. Flow walking proves that the Force isn't bound by linear time. It connects all moments, all places, and all destinies. But tampering with that flow risks unraveling reality itself. Some say those who look too long into time lose themselves in it, forever drifting between past and future. It's the ultimate, overpowered gift, and the most dangerous. Because sometimes, knowing too much is the fastest way to lose everything.